Here we are, it's the middle of June, and I thought I'd show you the progress of the vegetables so far. So we're down at the bottom end of the garden. These are the raspberries that you can see here, and we had a few spaces, so I've popped a couple of things like these sunflowers, and there's a pumpkin there that are going to require a bit of support and a bit of space, because I've actually, believe it or not, running out of space for that sort of thing. So there's another little water pond feature. This one again is in full sun and gets quite full of algae, but at least it's something for the birds to pop in and have a drink from. I've got lots of stones in there so that they can get in and out easily. Under the net here, the veg net, I've got cabbage, kale and cauliflower and swede at the end there, and turnips. So I really need to lift the lid on this and get in there and do a bit of weeding, but be quite a challenge to take it off, do the weeding and get it back on without getting any cabbage white butterflies in there, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. The rest of the brassica bed is empty at the moment and requires a bit of hoeing, so that's ready for the plants that I've got growing at the moment for the winter veg. So starting at the bottom here, then we've got some climbing beans. Got my shadow in. Some climbing beans and 3 gourds. I grew a whole load of gourds and ended up with 3 of them. So again, I'll sort of tie them to the fence at some point. We've got some runner beans here. Basically, I grew so many that this is the sort of leftovers, but all this bed is either flowers or legumes, so that's quite all right. There are 2 lots of runner beans. So the broad beans are doing quite nicely, as you may be able to see. We have some actual beans and there's flowers on them, but there's not a great deal of flower on them, so this might not be a variety that I will grow again. This was called Valencia, I think, yes, Valenciana, but they're not, they're a bit worrying because they haven't got loads of flower. They've got some flower but not lots. So I decided this year to grow, because this is quite a big bed, to grow some flowers in here as well for cutting. So that we've got some lovely dahlias there, which I actually bought in. So they are from Sarah Raven. I think I may have mentioned that before, and I could definitely recommend them. They're excellent quality when they arrive. So they're growing there in pots this year, just so that I can lift them. Really, it's a bit of a lazy way of doing it, but if they're quite happy down here, I might eventually plant them in and leave them. So we've got some. I did pop to the garden centre the other day and bought a couple of plants just to fill in where I've got the seeds that are growing. So there's poppies growing there and more Amis major, scabious, cosmos, and of course the old English marigolds. We've got a lovely apple tree there. That's which one is that? Oh, that's the mystery one. I can never remember the name because I've grown this year and I can't see it. So that's an apple tree anyway. And those are the sweet peas that I grew from seed last autumn and carried them all the way through the winter, and they're not really as good as the ones on the patio, which are much stronger and healthier. So I mean, these are healthy, but they're not, I don't know, they just don't look quite as good as the others. But there we are, we've got the sweet peas, so that's good for the bees and the butterflies. I love the cosmos. I've got a chocolate cosmos there. Oh, sorry, my shadow's in the picture. Ericium, which again, that's a yellow one. I do normally have the blue one. I've got the blue one in the patio. And the bees and the butterflies love those. Peas are coming on great guns, so won't be long before I can see a couple of little pods. So that we'll be eating those in a couple of weeks. And some nasturtiums. So I've got quite a few nasturtiums around. That's the second lot of peas. So they'll, obviously come after these ones. That's the Cox's Orange Pippin that's got some apples on it. That's lovely, fan trained. These are climbing beans, the French beans, which are very popular in our household. We do like French beans, and those are the scarlet runners, so they're doing quite well as well. And there's Lola lying down in the sunshine. The Old English marigolds again, calendula, just there to brighten up and attract the wildlife. And these are the sweet corn. So the sweet corn in this bed now, we've got sweet corn, courgettes, and a dwarf bean, purple teepee. So I've also got lettuce dotted in and out because they grow quickly, and we'll pick those and nobody will notice they've been and gone. So 2 lots of sweet corn. The second lot over there much tinier, and I obviously sow those later, but these are doing quite nicely here, although it's quite windy today considering it's so hot and sunny. It's also windy, so I don't think it'll be long before I'll be staking those. The courgettes, they do have a white powdery, it's not a mildew, but they always seem to grow like this, and it's nothing to worry about. They'll still grow the courgettes. I think these are a coloured variety, so we'll get some yellow ones in as well as green ones. But don't worry about that if that's happening to yours. It's very common and it's nothing to particularly worry about. Courgettes just seem to be prone to it. A little wall basket again, just to add a bit of flower and that to the area. Now we've got a field there next door, so you'll notice probably as I've gone along that along the fence there's quite a few weeds coming through, grasses and all the prickly things. So we don't worry about them. If they come into the actual bed, I'll get over there and pull them back, the nettles. But again, when the nettles are in flower, they're quite good for the wildlife. So it's a bit of a look over the bottom garden, and there in the old pond we have potatoes, and these are main crop potatoes, and there's 3 different varieties there. They've not had a great deal of attention. I don't water them, which I know is sort of counterproductive, but it's such a big bed, it's difficult to water them properly, so I'm relying on the rain for them. Plus I'm not in any particular hurry for them because we've got lots and lots of new potatoes to eat first. So over we go now to the veg growing area and the 3rd bed. This is Bob's bed, and this has got the onions, and we've got things like beetroot in here. I've got 2 different kinds of beetroot, a coloured one and a normal beetroot. I've got things in pots everywhere, so there's more beetroot there, I can like that, and more onions. Spring onions, the words wouldn't come to me then. So we've got a row of carrots growing quite nicely. We've got Swiss chard, and in between the beetroot we have some radish, because again they'll be pulled up and eaten long before the others mature, so that's okay. I've recently planted the leeks, So they're all in now and growing well. The onions are growing well, and they won't be too long before they're harvested. They're still growing quite well at the moment, but they do sort of come on all of a sudden, especially if we have rain. Everything seemed to grow 4 inches when we had the rain a couple of days ago, so a little bit of that gentle rain is really welcome. That's the giant garlic. I'm going to take those little sprigs off this week and cook them in the oven with some vegetables, so they'll be going in with the roasted veg. If you don't take those off, then the bulbs won't grow as big, so you need to take those off just to harvest the larger bulbs. So I've got a blackberry there on the corner, which is a cultivated blackberry bush, and in a bit of a stupid place because it prickles you every time you walk past. And here we've got garlic, which is almost ready. Just waiting for that to go down a little bit more, for the foliage to turn brown a little bit more. More lettuce, parsnips, oh, and a big weed. Just pull that out while we're passing. And some carrots. These will be the first carrots that we get to eat. These are called flyaway, and I've planted those quite carefully so they're not close together, and hopefully I've got high hopes for those. We've got some strawberries down there. We've got bunches of nettles and weeds here and there, but again, they are for the wildlife, so they're particularly left there. I'm not being lazy. Some currant there, raspberry and strawberry. Strawberry basket, and there's an odd tomato. So up here now we've just got things all over the place, and they're all a bit higgledy-piggledy and odd. That was a little bowl that was full of lettuce. We've eaten the lettuce. That's regrowing lettuce, and then I just stuck in a garlic chive and some parsley just to use the compost. These are the 3 buckets that we're doing for the church potato competition, so they should be getting ready and be up soon. More garlic. These are the new potatoes, so we've gone through, I know they're looking a bit sad now, but they need eating basically. We've gone through 3 tubs of them so far. There's not a massive amount in each tub, but there's a couple of good feeds in them, so they'll be eaten soon. And then here we have oil change again. So this is the tomatoes, 3 different types, and they're doing quite well. They've got nice trusses on them, so I'm trying to be careful now getting the side shoots out of them. And I've got in there marigolds, I've got basil, I've got mint, so there's plenty to deter the fly and what have you. But I have had white fly in here, and I've so far just rubbed it off. Those are aubergines there. Some more basil. I've got basil everywhere. It's all very young at the moment. These are a sweet pepper, they're the long pepper, Romano, and we have there 3 cucumbers. Children adore cucumbers. I've got 1 normal one, and there's 2 mini munch there, so they pick those and take those for their lunches. 3 outdoor tomatoes. Just, I've got so many tomato plants, I thought I'll just plant some outside as well. So, and more French beans, little bobby beans, call them what you like. These enormous potatoes are in a cattle bin, and they are the extra late ones, so these should be the last ones that we're going to eat, although looking at the size of them, maybe I'll have to eat them before because I think we're all potatoed out this year. We've got them everywhere. So there's a hanging thing that I did in a demonstration. Still not sure about the colour there, it's a bit clashy with the busy lizzies. And that's the other hanging bag that we did. That's filling out quite nicely now. You've got to remember with those sorts of things though to really hold the water over it for a long time to go all the way down. So more carrots, a few herbs, some bird's foot trefoil there. I decided to grow a wildflower in a pot. We've got some celeriac there that I've just pricked out, so that's waiting to go in the garden when I can find a space. More potatoes, and these are the shallots. So these are getting almost ready now. They're coming on really nicely, and I'll just wait for the tops to go brown and start to droop, and then we'll have them up and dry them. So that's last one. So there's 3 trays in there of broccoli, cabbage and sprouts for the winter. Some have already been attacked by the dreaded snails, and in here we have peppers and cucumbers and nothing else now, so because it's pretty hot in this one, so they'll all be quite happy in the heat, but most things won't. So that's a little walk round the veg plots. I hope it's given you some ideas, and excuse the mess, but you know, it's tricky to keep up with, and we've got such a lot growing that it's you know, it's keeping up with it all that's the problem. So hope you've enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think, and speak to you soon. Okay, bye.